like you put all of that to the side, there's also this other part of me that I hate about myself, and that's this embarrassment. I'm embarrassed. I feel guilty. I feel like a shitty mom. I feel like I somehow have caused this, and the shame and the hiding of that is also exhausting.
Hey everybody, it's Jody. I just wanted to say hi and welcome my colleague Allison on my live today. Thank you for being here, Allison.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and I'm still looking forward to talking about what we're building together.
We are so excited. Allison and I are moms, and we're coaches and colleagues, and we've been friends a really long time. And we both happen to have children that have had some struggles in mental illness, substance abuse, suicidal tendencies. And we have gotten together and talked about what we wish we had as moms, right in the middle of the thick of it, right?
Yeah.
And we are so excited to talk a little bit about this webinar we're going to be putting on next week and share with you some of the lies that we bought into that made us miserable. And we are going to provide a 6-week program that we wish we had.
Yes.
Right?
Boom. Love it.
Right? So I want you to get to know Allison a little bit. And so Allison, tell me, why is it so hard to raise teenagers?
Well, there's so many things that go into that, right? Their brains they're not fully wired up yet. They're going through puberty. Their friends become really important. We live in a world with social media and advertising and music that is maybe unsavory. Is that the right word? So there's a lot of things coming at teens, and there always has been. It's always been this transitional stage. And I think that makes it really difficult to be a teen. And it also makes it difficult to be a parent of a person, of another human that's going through these difficult times. And I think back to when it first started for us is middle school. So our daughter, we have 2 children. We have a son who is currently 18 and a daughter who's currently 16. And our son had some hiccups in middle school, and I didn't really understand just how terrible middle school was for young teens until our daughter got to 7th grade. And that's when we started to notice that this girl we just noticed her change.
Yeah.
And
tell me about that.
So things that she used to be able to really enjoy and participate in, she stopped doing. Her friends became very important, which was appropriate developmentally, but also really detrimental to her mental health. We experienced a lot of bullying. There's a lot of cruelty in middle school. And she, I think, was naive to some of that, as well as overly sensitive to the types of, I would call them attacks, because they really are. And some kids can weather those. I call them dandelions, right? These kids are like, they can grow anywhere and they're fine. And then there's other kids that are like orchids. I feel like my daughter in some ways was an orchid, not to fragilize her. She's strong. Yeah. However, she does catch energy more than most. So that started to really, what's the right word? She started to fall apart. She started to come undone. She started to question who she was and whether or not she was worthy, right? It's the same story for all of us, but in teenage years, it's really hard. And then she started to not feel confident, not feel capable. And then she started to find kids that took advantage of her. And I called it circling the drain. She just kept going around and around, right? To the point where she started self-harming. She and her friend started self-harming together. Started self-harming together. They started being bulimic together. And then our daughter became suicidal at that point and had started, still in middle school, she had her first attempt and was hospitalized and on. So that's...
I want to ask you, I don't want to interrupt you, but let me ask you, because we are providing this support to moms. How did that make you feel? I mean, where were you in that time? What was going through your head?
There's so much. The first thing is, I'm a panicker. I'm real good at going from 0 to 10 of like, holy crap, what's going on in my world? It's all coming apart. So I experienced it in my body too. I would get an adrenaline rush. I would start to panic. I would get shaky. My whole nervous system would like be on alert, right? So I'm like this a lot. That's exhausting and it's real tense. It's hard to sleep. It's hard to keep it up. It's not sustainable. That leads to hopelessness, anger, frustration, as well as like you put all of that to the side. There's also this other part of me that I hate about myself. And that's this embarrassment. I'm embarrassed. I feel guilty. I feel like a shitty mom. I feel like I somehow have caused this. And the shame and the hiding of that is also exhausting. So you put these...
probably makes it hard for you to reach out to other people for support, right?
Well,
like alone.
I'd have to admit a lot of things. I always say it wasn't until I looked in the mirror and saw reality, right? I had to see reality. I was really, really busy trying to find the cause. It's her friends, it's social media, it's the school, it's my bad parenting, it's because my husband's a recovering alcoholic, it's because all the things. And then one by one, it's her meds, it's her doctor, it's her therapist. And I would grab onto those and then fix it. And I'd end up in the same place. I grab something else and try and fix it. And I'd end up in the same place. It wasn't until I could stand back and see the forest for the trees, right?
And how did you get to that place?
My coach got me there. My coach just kept asking me curious questions and kept helping me see reality and help me see that my pattern, my coping mechanisms was keeping me stuck. I kept trying to control, and it wasn't working. And I'd look around, I go, how am I here again? And my coach would say, yeah, how are you here again, Allison? What's going on? And once I had somebody standing shoulder to shoulder with me so that I could face reality, because my reality was, and it still is in a lot of ways, impossible. It is impossible to accept. I have to accept it. It's impossible to accept. I have to. So once I had enough support around me, I could look at that reality. Take a deep breath and
be okay.
Not okay, but I could be with it and not get lost in all of the chatter, the noise, the solving and controlling that I put around it so I don't have to face it.
So for some of the moms that might be listening and might really relate to everything you're saying and are sitting in the midst of this and are terrified and don't know who to reach out to and don't know what's safe and what's not safe, what would you tell them?
First thing is, you're not the only one. You're not alone. There's a lot of us out here, and a lot of these mental health issues are coming to light, for better or worse, because of COVID. So that's, we're seeing an escalation, a further escalation of mental health issues. So you're not alone, and you're not the only one. The second thing I want these parents to know is, I want to say this delicately, the work of being the best parent you can possibly be starts with you. And so it seems cruel or dumb or like, how does she say this? But to put your children to the side for a minute and look at yourself. How are you showing up? How are you creating the things you say you don't want? How might you be creating? Not that you are, but how could you possibly be doing that? How are you contributing to the mess? Getting really honest, brutally honest with ourselves is actually how we become better. Okay. And I would say, don't you dare do that alone. There's no reason to do it alone. Yeah. And I couldn't do it alone. I couldn't, just like I can't tickle myself, I can't interrupt my own thoughts. I need somebody that I trust that can provide me a safe space to help me to see how my thinking is distorted and how it's getting in my way.
And that's what a coach does, right?
Yes.
And that's the miracle of a good coach.
Changed my life.
Therapists have their place, right?
Absolutely. I have one of those too.
Right? But a coach is someone, like you said, that stands shoulder to shoulder, yes, stands with you in the mess and helps you see, yes, the pathways that maybe are right in front of you that you're blind to, it might be, the escape hatch you're looking for, but you can't even see it because of the chaos of your life. Awesome. Thank you so much, Allison. This has been so much fun. And
I'm thrilled.
I'm going to post a link when I post this video about how to sign up for this webinar. And I hope all the moms on this, well, dads too, that are watching this, that are dealing with some of these challenges and struggles, will click on that link and join the webinar and just come along with us so we can all be together on this path. All right. Thank you,
Jody. All right. See you soon.